This video is all about creating a fantasy environment painting from scratch. You will see every major step from a very simple line work sketch to the final image. My name is Victor, I work as a concept artist, and I'm really excited to show you the process, so let's get started. Before you even put down the first line, it's worth spending a few moments just think about your idea, what kind of mood you want to have, what story does the image tell. You can start with a rough picture in your mind, maybe it's an ancient temple perched high on a mountain, or strange monument carved out of stone. But don't rush this stage. The clearer your vision, the more confident your painting will feel. I like to gather a few reference images before I start sketching. You can do the same, pull together a few photos or screenshots that capture the shapes, lighting, maybe some colors you like. It doesn't have to be perfect or final. Think of your reference board as a sandbox, a place to explore possibilities and any interesting ideas. Sometimes I'll take a small section from multiple images and combine them into one idea. That blend of realism and imagination helps the world feel believable but still original. Now, for this particular painting, we're going for a fantasy scene, maybe a temple on a mountaintop, maybe a carved rock formation that looks like it's half natural, half built. You can imagine carvings made from different material, maybe even glowing slightly as if they were some ancient powerful relics or something. Maybe there's an artifact at the center levitating just a little. So this is kind of the chain of thought I'm having when I'm doing these sketches in the beginning. Now as you brainstorm, ask yourself, what's the story here? Who built this place? Why is it abandoned or still standing? Little questions like that will quietly shape your design choices later on. When I sketch, I try to manage the shapes carefully. Think about how the viewer's eye will move through the image. Too much chaos or too many competing details can break the flow. So I balance the shapes, large masses, smaller accents, and some natural rhythm between them. When you're working on the composition, think about unity and variety and try to compose it so that there is a rhythm to your decisions and a rhythm to the shapes you're creating and how they're placed. Once the sketch feels solid, you can start by blocking in the main shapes with color. I usually begin with the flat tones, nothing fancy, nothing decisive yet. For this scene, I'm using desaturated, slightly warm hue for the rocks. I'm already planning for a soft sunset light, something that gives the whole image that reddish glow across the horizon. Now to set the stage, I first fill in the sky with a general value and then work my way toward the foreground. When you start adding color, don't stress about staying perfectly within the lines. In fact, it's good to be a little loose, keep your brushstrokes organic. It makes the painting feel more alive eventually. At this point, you're still sort of finding the energy and the feel to the image. Don't worry about looking down the details just yet. As you paint, start thinking about the atmosphere. Objects farther from the camera should be lighter and less detailed because of the atmospheric perspective. That gives lots of depth in your environment. So if there is a mountain range or far away in the background, you can push its values closer to the color of the sky. Maybe think about adding a touch of fog or haze. They'll tie everything together visually. In the early stages, try not to go too heavy on the contrast. You don't need the darkest darks or the brightest lights yet. You're still building the structure of the painting, and it's easier to fine-tune the values later once the scene feels more balanced. Think of it as sketching in color. Alright, now once you're happy with the basic setup, you can start committing to stronger values, especially in the foreground. Since the foreground is closer to the viewer and usually away from the main light source, it'll often hold the darkest tone. That contrast really helps create depth and makes your focal point stand out later on. Now, turn on your attention to the altar or the temple area at the top of the mountain. You can start carving in details, maybe engravings, cracks, or worn surfaces that hint at age. Try to separate materials visually. Maybe the carved stone looks smoother and cooler in color, while the natural rock around it feels rougher and warmer. Small differences like that help your materials feel distinct without needing a lot of extra detail. Let's talk about the light direction. Decide where your main light source, in this case the sun, is coming from. In this painting, I'll place the sun just behind the main rock formation, so it creates a soft backlight. That means that the front of the rocks will mostly be in shadow, with just a few rim highlights along the edges. This kind of lighting is subtle but powerful. It gives a cinematic mood in some cases. When shading, think in planes, which surfaces are facing the light, which are turned away. Don't focus right now on every crack in the rock, just focus on broad light transitions. That's what makes the form believable. If you keep that mindset and you'll automatically get a better sense of volume. As you start refining the scene, notice how flat areas in the foreground might need some depth. Pick up a slightly darker tone and start adding some variation. A few soft shadows, a few sharper edges as well. Each mark helps describe the surface. Is it smooth? Is it broken? Or is it maybe covered in moss or anything like that? Also, don't forget to download the free brush pack. The link is in the description. Now let's move on. Notice how your painting might still feel disconnected just a little bit. The top looks great, the bottom looks decent, but they're not working together just yet. That's where the atmosphere comes in again. I like to add layers of soft fog or low clouds drifting between the rocks. You can use a big soft brush for this. I think of it just like painting smoke or mist. Give it a cooler tint, maybe like a blue-gray, in order to contrast with the warm rock. Step back from the image once in a while, zoom out and squint your eyes. This helps you see the composition as a whole. If something feels off, it probably is. So sometimes you'll notice that one side feels too empty or the contrast feels unbalanced. These are the best moments to make adjustments. This fog not only unifies the scene but adds depth, so your eye can travel naturally from front to back. You can place a few layers of fog at different distances. So you can place these layers of fog at different distances. One close to the camera, one mid-ground, and one behind your main shapes. And one behind the main shapes. Each layer sort of adds a new sense of space. You'll notice right away how much more cinematic it feels. Next, look at the transitions between elements. For instance, between the base rocks and the altar, you can carve in small steps or ledges, just something that hints that the person could climb up there. Even if no character is present, these details make the environment feel a bit more real. Spend a little extra time on your focal area, the altar, and whatever artifact or light source you've imagined. Here, you can add small carvings, symbols, or broken fragments to tell a bit of story. You don't need to over-explain it, just give enough information for the viewer's imagination to fill in the rest. Now, as you near the later stages of painting, it's time to refine your edges. Edges can say a lot. Sharp ones attract attention, while soft ones blend and calm some transitions. If some of your edges feel too mechanical or stiff, break them up, add tiny chips or irregularities. Nature is never perfectly clean cut, so these small imperfections make your scene feel authentic. Once your lighting and atmosphere feel balanced, take one last look at your focal area. This is where you can introduce subtle special effects. Maybe the artifact has a faint glow or light refracting slightly through the fog. At this point, I was wondering if maybe I should add a character. Usually, it helps to scale, a bit of storytelling. I considered adding a figure standing near the altar, maybe looking up at the artifact. Then I thought about placing one in the foreground, looking toward the temple. Both options could have worked, but in the end, I decided to leave the scene empty. Sometimes an empty environment feels more mysterious. It lets the viewers imagine their own story. That said, it's always, good to experiment. If you're unsure, try adding a silhouette, see how it feels. It all depends on your story. Finally, you can do a pass for overall clarity, sharpen some edges around the focal point just a bit, clean up some muddy colors if they're present, push the contrast slightly where you want attention and soften it elsewhere. The key here is balance. Too much polish and it can look artificial, too little and it can feel unfinished. Thank you so much for watching and painting along. I hope you enjoyed the process and picked up something useful along the way. If you found it helpful, feel free to subscribe and drop a like. It really helps the channel. And if you have any questions about the process, drop them in the comments. I've got another painting tutorial coming soon, so stay tuned.